Here's the part we just cut out on the CNC machine, and as you can see from the other side, none of it went through, though it got very close. If you hold it up to the light, I can see light through it. So we just have a little bit to cut out of. What we use is called a flush trim bit. Now this tiny little bit that's sticking out, it's only 1/4 of an inch, it is straight, and we need to put it into the back and cut around the back side. Now as you can see, like I've mentioned, there's no holes here. So all we have to do is take a 1/4 inch drill bit, and we're going to cut out certain parts. So I'm going to cut into an area right here and just cut right through it. Just breaks right into it. Since these are all connected, that's all I need. I'm going to put another one here and another one over here. This one's a little tighter than the rest. Also, these two also get cut out. One right there and one right there. Now, do not cut into this and this. These two do not get cut through. Be careful. So it's just these little areas, and now I can cut. So what we're going to do, of course, have on your safety glasses, is I'm going to take a look and stick it in the hole, and essentially I won't be able to go anywhere where there's not a groove. So this should guide me as I go. Now, I want to do these 2 middle holes first, and then the rest. Now this is not sticking out far enough. If I set this down on the table, it won't hit the table. Now that you got all of your parts cut out, they all look really good. Make sure to drill out these. They're all 1/4 inch. And they should drill right through because there's barely a 1/16 of an inch. Once those are drilled, we want to take care of this sharp edge. So simply take some sandpaper, sand all these nice and round and smooth so that they're all even, and then we can move on to the next step. Now we're going to take this jig, which is found on the wall behind the boring machine, right by the bandsaw. We're going to take all of these pieces that you cut out for your hinges. Now, there's 2 of them and they're exactly the same, so take your pick. But what we need to do is drill holes in these so we can screw the hinge into the side or the front of your wood safe. So you simply take it, slide it in, goes in all the way. Now that's the angled side, the round side goes in. Once that's in there, take your scratch awl, your sharp awl, as centered as you can, and then do that twice. Once you have those in there, you're going to take this drill bit. This is found where all the other drill bits are above the drill. This has a countersink tip on it. So it's also the right length for a later operation. But we need to drill in far enough so that it leaves a hole to countersink the head of this size screw. Okay? So we put it in your drill. Nice and tight. And as you can see, it's been done many times. Just put it right where that mark was. Drill in until the head of that hole is about the size of the head of the screw. And that's a little oversized, but if you're a hair off, it really doesn't matter. A bit too much or a bit too little. The head should sink in there enough to take care of it. Go in, do the same thing. There we go. So now I'm all set to screw this in when it's all put together. Repeat this process on each one of these, and then we can move on from there. When it's time to cut all of the dowels, you're going to want this jig, and it's found on the wall right behind the bandsaw here. Fits into the slot nice. And a lot of times this guard's going to be about down there for your other cuts. What we need is to have this part of it matching this part. That's your stop. So you just raise it up, push this in until it's going to hit that spot there. Tighten it back up again and you're good to go. So how it works is you take your dowel and you put it into the end here, and you're going to cut a few different lengths. Now the lengths are shown on the other side. And here they are. 1/2 of an inch is this surface right here. So the dowel being flush right there, cutting, that'll give me my 1/2 inch dowels. 1 inch is that far, and then 2 1/4 is that one right there. At the bottom of this, it'll tell you I need 24 short ones, 3 of them at 1, 2 of them at 2 1/4. get all those cut, and then you'll have all the pieces you need for the rest of the safe. Now that we have all the hinges sanded and smooth, we're happy with it. We've also got the holes drilled. They're ready to be put together. So here's how they go. 2 of them go this way, 1 of them goes that way, and then the dowel goes all the way through. Now, depending on which dowels you're using, they may be tight, they may be a little loose. If they're loose, we'll put a little bit of glue on the end and just glue the ends. Please don't glue the middle, otherwise they won't hinge. But otherwise, if it's fairly tight, then you don't have to glue anything. All right, that's a little on the loose side, which is okay. Let's just make sure everything fits first. We'll go from there. And that fits in there. So that's how it's going to go, and then it hinges out. So these are a little bit loose, so I'm just going to put a little tiny dab of glue on my finger. I'll just go ahead and just put a little on the outside of that dowel, and the same on this one. Doesn't take very much. There we go. And we'll just slide those back on. Now remember, you don't want to get glue on the other ones. So I've got to take a little bit of that off. There we go. And you want them fairly tight. Now there is a little bit of dowel sticking out. There we go. If it sticks out too far, you could just take it to a sander and just sand that off, and that's okay. This seems to have gone in and now it's hidden. All right, so that once that dries, that will be all set to put onto your safe. And then we'll repeat on the other side. I'm just going to assume that they're a little bit on the small side because the first one was. There we go, a little on the outside. And then line that up and push that in. There we go. Make sure the dowel is nice and inside there. And there's your other hinge. Once that dries, we'll be ready to use it.